Cool. So going into what I might actually do right now really quickly is I'll share the little manual that I've got now. This manual is going to grow and I'll update it because the information that we talk about today is going to end up in the manual. I figured it's better to do this first and then put the stuff in that we talked about than to make it, and then I'll probably change it while I'm chatting. So I've just got to go to my chat and I'll share in the chat the little manual that we've got. I'm going to find that green. Where's the green cross? Might be a little bit big. I might have to share it in the it's going to do it. Okay, let me see. File, computer, recents. See if that works. Yeah, it's coming. So while that's uploading, we will talk about what past life regression could be. So once again, it's really we're talking about like the client's safety in the mind. It's really important that whatever our beliefs are around what past life is, that we remain 100% open-minded about what it could be. It's important that we don't give absolutes to people where we say, yes, this is your past life from 2 lifetimes ago, or this is imagination, or this is whatever it could be. So at the end of the day, no matter how much knowledge we have in this lifetime, who really knows what's going on? Do you know what I mean? There's lots of theories. And for us, when it comes to past life, it's really important that we make sure our clients understand that could be real, it could be imagined, it could be all of these different theories. We don't know 100%, but all we can share is our idea of what we think it is. But it's just an idea. And that way we also keep our clients safe. Because when our clients are vulnerable and we are a person in a position of power, they believe everything we say to a T, 100%. And so, like I said, it's our job, it's our responsibility to present things in a way where they understand that we're giving our idea of what something is, but it's not a matter of fact. And so there's lots of different theories about what past life could be, right? And of course, there is the theory that it is our souls, that our soul comes back lifetime after lifetime to experience things for growth. Okay, so that's one of the theories. So one of the theories is it's, you know, a lifetime presented to a soul that is unique to us, that is experiencing different lifetimes for growth. So that's one of the most common theories that they say. There's another theory that I really like, which is myself personally, which is the idea of there's one of a collective unconscious. So just like animals, we're all connected, and that all of time is experienced within us. I know Carl Jung's into the collective unconscious, and so many, you know, when you go into so many other theories, especially in like quantum physics and things like that, we get into the idea that we're all connected, which means I could go into Claire's past and Claire could go into my past, and I could journey into any lifetime that ever existed through the idea that we're all connected and one being essentially, which I think is quite a nice idea. It could explain why many people become Cleopatra. And I thought it was just a joke when, you know, everyone says I'm Cleopatra, but seriously, I looked on YouTube to see how many people have had a 100% Cleopatra life, and they say that they were, and it's a lot of people. And when you think about the idea of of more of a collective unconscious, where we can actually tap into experiences that have come and gone, past and future. It would explain why people can tap into the same lifetime. Many people, with very much certainty, the amount of people that have been Jesus or Jesus followers is out the gate. And you start looking up, and these people believe 100% that they were 100%, without a doubt, they've experienced it. So the idea is that our life is encoded into our DNA, which is a cool idea, and that our body stores the memories of the entire life existence of humanity, really, which gives us the ability to tap into different experiences and different memories. I do like the idea of our body storing memories, and I was watching a really cool documentary last night about, people having organ transplants and how their personalities change, how they have vivid memories that aren't theirs, and they can describe them in detail and get proof from living relatives of the people whose organs they have. So, they're proving that our body contains memories, not just in our little brain, but in our whole body. And so the idea of even generational stuff coming through, experiences that our ancestors have had, being stored in our body today, and our triggers, is, to me, is something that's not really far out there anymore. I mean, we're proving it. So, could past life be tapping into, especially the ones where we go back? Could it be tapping into just the world of memories that are stored in our body through past times? There is the idea that it is just metaphoric, that our mind is creating stories and representations to help us in our life right now. Our imagination is powerful enough to do that, without a doubt. So could be. There's been a lot of myself personally had a past life regression where I could back it up with facts, and it was very weird scenarios where I found myself as a little boy with very dark skin looking after wild cats in Roman times, with this big Roman building, and I knew the year, and I knew that I wasn't supposed to be in that country, and neither were those cats. And so when I did some research, I found out that there was one Tsar, or whatever you'd call him, that imported these cats into a country, and he would use them to be driven around on a carriage. And of course, the stable hand was a little boy. So who knows? And I could actually see, and I'm not very visual, the pillars. And when I did the research, I saw the pillars in the drawing of what the place looked like. So, so I've had a past life where I've actually gone back and able to find the links. And like I said, my mind doesn't believe in a linear lifetime. So I think we stumble upon, myself personally, lifetimes that might not essentially be, I'm the only one that can go there, that we all can go there. That's only my personal belief. Another theory that I do like also is that, and I have experienced this with clients before, that it's as though the energy of a lifetime has been wandering, and it's wandering so close to the person, almost like what you would call an entity, that lifetime is kind of intertwined with the client's lifetime now. And that's why when we do the process, we always send the lifetime to the light and release that lifetime, so that the client can have a real clear picture of, this is me, and that was then. Real dissociation. We don't want to create a person with two personalities walking the world. And yep, that is a definite possibility with hypnosis. If you don't tread carefully, we can create personalities. We can create mental illness as well if we're not careful, especially when we're taking people and turning them into different people and things like that. So we have to, like I said, we have to tread carefully when we work with the realm of imagination. So yeah, so there's, and I'm sure there's heaps more theories, but if I was you, I would look into the different kind of theories that are around and just get yourself well versed, because the people that are coming to see you for past life will have their opinion on what it is. And you want to kind of have those ideas of what it could be in your mind. And to be honest, they could all be right too. It could be some people are going into memories. It could be some people are imagining. It could be some people are tapping into linear lifetimes. It could be that there's an attachment with a person that's sharing their story. You know, we don't know. And it could be all of those things and more. You know, there could be so much to it. I don't think it would be one thing. I mean, our brains don't work that way, you know. So every theory is possibly based in reality in some way. So really having a grasp on that is really important. And like I said, it's a scary world when spiritual people start getting ideas that what they believe is 100% fact and other people are wrong and about things. It's really important that we keep a very, very open mind about things. I see that can kind of happen in our world where people can get an idea, and because it plays out in clinic, to them it comes fact and it closes off the idea of other things. So when it comes to past life, it's important that we keep our mind open, and you're going to learn so much from your clients. It's going to open your mind even more, and you'll probably come up with new ideas about what could be happening in our mind. It doesn't, you know, end the idea of what it could be. Yeah. So if someone says to you, even if someone says to you, oh, past life, why do you do that? It's rubbish. You know, you can back yourself up with theories and ideas, but you can also turn around to them and say, well, if it was, it doesn't matter, because most people that come to us for a session, the problems that they've got are rubbish. They're not real. They're anxious about something, or they're worried about a relationship that isn't around anymore, you know, that ended 20 years ago. So the things that they come to us for a lot of the time aren't real anyway. So if they believe that a past life regression is going to resolve their issue, then why not give them one? Do you know what I mean? It's a ceremony. It's a way of healing. So for people that come and say things to you like that, I would be putting it back on them and just saying, well, it doesn't matter either way, because if it promotes healing in an area, why not? Do you know what I mean? It's all about living in the world of kind of stepping into the world of the client and what their belief system is. I do know when I used to do weight loss and people would say to me, it's because of a past life, I would, in my brain, I would go, oh, no. Trust me, it's because of the shit in this life, man. Let's just sort this out first. That's going on. That's my stories in my head, because we all have a good history. You know, we all have stuff that's made our nervous system go crazy, and it's giving us responses. But I know that if I don't give that person a past life, no matter what I do with them in session, it'll be helpful. Of course it's going to, but they believe they need a past life, so I'll give it to them. So the amount of times I've done a past life in a session for weight loss, because a client told me that's why. And we always end up in lifetimes where they're starving or chained up somewhere, or you know, where food is a big deal, and they walk away going, that's why, and now I can get on and exercise and eat healthy. Do you know? And I'm like, could have done that before, but you know, they got what they needed to do, and it's their resolution. And at the end of the day, it's a really fun session. so it's cool to do. But yeah, we with these kind of sessions, we're living in the world of the client, and if the client believes that this is what they need to get the results, then it is going to be what they need. Do you know what I mean? It is going to be what they need. And like I said, they could be 100% true. It could be right what they're saying or not. We don't know. But we do need to give them what we want. So I'm just going to go through some notes. So I might just share this so it keeps me on track. I did write some notes down that are really important before we go into the actual process. So when we are doing these kind of sessions, it's really important to understand that the best way, and this is with anything, this is if you're going to do automatic writing with a client, this is if you're going to do any kind of session, or even for yourself, the best way to open up channels to other parts of us is through play and imagination. Okay, so imagination is the way to get into these deeper parts of the mind. So I'm going to do another little thing on creative writing or spirit writing. And one of the biggest ways to start being able to get your superconscious or your higher self, whatever you call it, to start writing is to actually pretend that you are, to actually sit down, put yourself in trance, write a question on a piece of paper, stop, go into a space, pretend that you are your higher self and start to write. And what will happen is at first you'll feel like it's you, and then profound stuff comes out, and more profound stuff comes out the more you play. But if you weren't prepared to play and to imagine at first, then that process would be really hard to get into. So with us and the client doing this kind of work, you know, explaining to them just to go with the process at first, just to say whatever comes up if they're more conscious, just to kind of come into it with that kind of energy to it. The lighter energy will make it easier to get the session to flow. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I did talk about this earlier about I don't need to go through this again, but about how our imagination works. If you missed that, I'll put the video on tomorrow. But it was just very quickly saying that we are working in the realms of imagination. Doesn't mean it's imagination, but the way our brain perceives it, the way our brain senses the information coming in is the world of visualization, imagination, and that's different for everybody. And it's important that we get to know how our clients senses things. We will be giving them a recording to listen to, and I'm going to show you a little exercise. We'll do it together where you can actually start to get a sense for how people visualize things or how people sense things. We'll go through that. When we're doing a session, this is about one of the only sessions that that people want recorded and that you do record and give to them. For me, any therapeutic session shouldn't be recorded, even a standard SP session, because a client comes in one space, they do the work and they leave in a different space. So you don't want them going back to the start and listening to the beginning again where they were before and getting them to go back. But a lot of past life regression is experiential, and a lot of people are coming for the experience. They want to hear it, and they want to know what happened. So it is a little bit different. And I put it on here that if you are really going to get into past life regression, most clients don't mind, and you can get them to sign a disclaimer. A lot of people do put these sessions onto YouTube. You never put the start of the session and how you got them to that space, but in the session and the higher self communication, a lot of people record that part and make a channel for people that are interested. And people don't mind that. Like I said, it's up to the person. They might say, hell no. But a lot of people actually like having it on YouTube. So that's something you can look at too if you want to get into past life regression as one of those things that you do. It's the real, if you have a look at Albert Weinman and other people, they've got thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers listening to every one of them, because it's pretty damn exciting. And people, you know, we all have this curiosity about what happens after death, or who are we? So it's something that's quite, you know, that people are really interested in. So when we're doing this kind of work, and we will talk about language, our language is incredibly important for doing past life. We do talk about how we're not allowed to lead our clients or ask leading questions. We talk about that a lot. And past life regression, it is important to be aware of our language. You will be saying things like, do you feel as though you're male or female? And in this kind of sense, it's okay to say questions like that. Okay, so the questions that we say in past life, it is a little bit different to doing clinical hypnosis. People say to me that do past life and do kind of spiritual work, they'll say to me, my clients always never go to human lifetimes. They always go to interdimensional lifetimes or alien lifetimes, or they're always becoming statues and things. And when I listen to them and when I watch what they're doing, I can pull up instantly the moment the language is given that will present that. And you don't even know you're doing it. But one word when you're presenting the part where you're asking a person to go to a lifetime can make a difference. One of my clients recently had clients always going back to a memory in this lifetime. And so when I asked, what are you actually saying? And when she told me what the sentence was, I could see instantly that there was how the mind could go back to this lifetime just by a tweak of a word, or by adding a word, to kind of let the mind understand, we're going somewhere else. So when for you guys, you may want to, if you've got someone that comes in and they want to and they believe that they were or they are, say, a star seed, and they want to explore a different interdimensional place, then when you're doing it, you may say, it says here, you might say I want you to drift back to another lifetime that represents or can benefit this lifetime now. Okay, so you're most likely going to get a human lifetime. But if you said another lifetime, another experience, or an interdimensional time that represents this time now, you've got way more of a chance of drifting in every direction, not just backwards. Does that make sense? If you were to say, we would like to experience a future lifetime where even more wisdom is gained, where we can pick up insights and gifts that we could bring back into this lifetime to support them. Okay, could be a high chance it's imagination, but who cares? Do you know what I mean? If we experience a lifetime, and that lifetime, even if it is imagined, has these amazing gifts of being able to move objects, and you bring it back and they can do it, well, that would be fun. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter if it's imagination, as long as we always say to our client, if they say, was that really real? We don't know. We don't know. But what we do know, it was real when we were doing it together, for us. And it was an awesome experience, and it's been helpful. So do you know what I mean? We can't give absolute. But yeah, just your sentences can guide people to different places. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be very too leading, meaning super conscious. I'd like you now to take them back to when they were Cleopatra. I want you to take them back to that moment when they were Cleopatra and this thing was happening. No way. It's just, you'll definitely be creating, even if the person was, and it was real that they were Cleopatra, that suggestion would open up the world of imagination. Without a doubt, it's too leading. So you wouldn't want to target anything specifically. If someone did want to target something specifically, you would just be very clear that you're working in the world of imagination. So if someone did say, like I know that I have an Arcturian lifetime, which is, a lot of people, my friends, say that, and have lots of cool experiences. If you were to do that, then you would always just be very clear that you have no idea whether it's real or not. And, the more leading a question, the more you're working in the world of hypnosis and imagination. So, yeah, just be aware of that, but be very aware of language. And if you do, like somebody says to me, I had one lady saying to me that she was stumbling across demonic stuff all of the time in her sessions, and it was more SP style. And so when we were talking about what we were doing, she was specifically asking in the session things along the lines, has this person got a demonic attachment? If you ask that, the chance of the person saying yes, is going to be a lot higher. So once again, that's language. So that's language, and it's quite a leading question. Do you know what I mean? So if someone never asked that question, you know, it could come up that the person's belief system might believe there's something there. But most of the time, our mind will fill in the blanks and make stuff up in hypnosis. So yeah, if you even find yourself doing sessions and the same thing is coming up over and over again, and you're doing more of this kind of session, I'd look into language and see, is there anything that I'm saying that could be leading clients into the same kind of outcome? Yeah, interesting, eh? But our language is really important. And when we're doing kind of work, it's good to be aware of it for the positive as well. Like I said, the more you open up the lifetimes to, if you say interdimensional, if you say any experiences, if you say lifetimes as well, you know, you might have more chance of having sessions of being rain or a rock, you know. And I've worked with people where they've suddenly been a mountain. Interesting lifetime, because what do you do? Oh, can we go to another experience of being this mountain? How are you feeling? Do you know what I mean? So when you use that kind of language, more of, you know, an experience, you know, you're more likely to get into more weird and out there scenarios. And I tell you what, no matter what it is, there's always learnings in it. So metaphor could even be metaphoric, that the person learns from it. You know, they really do learn from it, from everything that comes up in session, real or imagined or metaphor. They learn from the experience, even if it's, I don't know if it was Dawn or Dolores Cannon, but I remember listening to something about how a person had an experience of being just a little rock. And it's like, well, that'd be an interesting session to kind of work around, you know, what kind of questions do you ask? Because you're not going to say, so what are you wearing? And look at your hands, little rock. You know, you're going to have to be quite creative about the questions that you ask when you're doing things like that. But like I said, there's a lot of learnings you get from those kind of sessions, even you, and how to kind of navigate. A really important thing, and we'll go into the interview, is the interview. In a normal hypnosis session, I always say that the interview is the most important part of the session. Without knowing the client, you can't create a session that's going to benefit them, right? So the interview is really important. Now, the interview in a past life regression is super, super, super important. It can't be rushed. That's why I said you've got to put a good amount of time aside to do a past life regression. When you do it, and I'll go into it soon, you want to know everything about that client. You want to know everything about that client's life, everything about their connections, their beliefs, who was important in their life, you know, because it will help. Mostly because it helps with rapport and the connection with you. In the interview, when you're sitting there and you're regulating their breath and you're talking with them, making them feel safe, you know, it's all the induction, basically. Go into that soon. It's all the induction. It's all getting them to feel safe with you. The rapport is open, their mind is open to work with you, and they believe you know them 100%, you know, and that's what allows the mind to journey safely. So another important, so this is in the important notes section. Another thing to really understand is that the reason why, like I said at the start, that I can teach you this in one day is because in SP we work in a way where we already know how to use superconscious, and we're going to use higher self as well to shift whatever is necessary. So like I said before, if we're in a scene where it's not a very nice scene, do you know what I mean? Someone's burning, or someone's watching someone being killed, or worse off, they put themselves in the scene where they're doing it to someone. Do you know what I mean? That's even worse with the clients, how they feel. We have superconscious. We can just say to, hey, superconscious, come in. I want you to just do whatever needs to be done here and now to allow us to experience this scene in a safe way.
We carry props.
Yeah, a way that's like
Can you help me
safe
carry on? Get started.
for the client. Yeah, so we can use the language of, you know, we can ask superconscious to shift things. We can ask superconscious to experience the space, but without any pain, in a safe way, so that just the learnings can come forward and the understandings. Yeah. So we have the superconscious and we have the higher self supporting the session, and that is an incredibly powerful way to help with any issue that ever comes up in session. Okay, I'll give you one example that happened. I've got lots of funny past life stories. So past life regression is what got me into hypnosis originally. I was really fascinated by it. And I started learning past life before I really learned hypnosis. But I learned off my first course I ever bought was on maybe it could have been Udemy at the time, but I don't know if that was around, or it could have been Course Center of Excellence or something. Anyway, there was a place a long time ago that sold little courses, and I remember doing past life regression on a friend. You guys probably would have heard this, where in the lifetime she was in a hayfield and she never had hay fever. And when we opened her eyes, she had to go to the doctor and get meds for hay fever. And I didn't know how to shift it. I didn't know. Now all I needed to say was, if there's anything been taken on, switch it off. But we're talking serious. She came out sneezing, red eyes, and it was a bit of a topic of conversation for quite a long time. And that's when I realized, whoa, you know, how powerful is our mind that we can give someone an illness in hypnosis. And I'm laughing about it now, but at the time it kind of freaked me out a little bit and made me realize I need to learn it properly. And I talk about that a lot now, then how powerful our mind is. So yeah, another experience I had was with someone that doesn't believe in past lives, is not open-minded at all. I was doing a weight loss session, and I was doing the old school quite early on, going back into a scene that represents what's going on now. And she ended up screaming in pain because she was in a hole in dirt and had been stabbed through the shoulder and had been murdered. And this is someone that doesn't believe in past lives. And at the time, I didn't know to just ask to shift the pain. And so I just got her up out of that scene. And when she came back in, you know, she had the shoulder. We did figure it out, but at the same time, my brain was mind blown, because to me, I didn't think someone that didn't believe in this kind of thing and didn't live in the world that we live in could even go into something like that. And if you talk to that chick now, she won't even barely talk about it. She just says it's weird. I don't know what happened then. I don't want to talk about it. She's straight up. I can't even joke with her about it. It was too much for her mind to comprehend, and it was absolute pain for her. So I seem to do things really badly when I started hypnosis, to learn lessons to show people what not to do, I think. but that gave me a really good lesson in how in an imaginative world, in the world of imagination, whatever it may be, it changes our physiology, and yep, we can cause pain, and our body responds in these sessions. So once again, language is so important, and we do always set up before we go that the person is surrounded. And I'll put a cloak in here of light and love, and that everything that we do is safe. And that language at the start is super important, having protection there, so that there is an understanding that the person isn't going to be in any harm in the session. Yeah, and it all comes down to language, but knowing 100% that superconscious and higher self is there and has your back. All you need to do is call on them. Though I've got it in the script that we're always communicating with them anyway, but it is your get out of jail free card, and it is your backstop whenever you need it. When you're doing this kind of work, you guys will have a really good understanding better than anyone of superconscious language, or the language that we use for ideomotor responses if we're not doing SP. So having learned TSB, you have a really good understanding of, hey, superconscious, shift something, or hey, superconscious, do whatever you need to do. Do you know, not a lot of people have the skill of being able to speak that way. Even in the hypnosis world, not many people actually learn how to learn the language of working in that kind of space, that ideomotor response space. So that is the language that you'll be using when you need support in this kind of session. Yeah, like I said, if you learn normal past life regression, it's a little bit done in a little bit of a different way. You know, if you learn from people like Dawn, you learn to do it in a very safe way. But I've learned, even when I did training with, like I said, the QHHT and Brian Weiss and Bruce Goldberg, they're big names. When I did all of their trainings, I didn't learn how to get out of, I was never taught how to get out of hard situations. It was more just, they just experience it and you move on, you know, without the understanding. I have to say, though, maybe 50, 60 years ago, they didn't understand how powerful our brain was to our body, that connection. So I think if they were teaching things now, it would be taught in a little bit of a different way, just because of the knowledge we have around the body and the mind now. But yeah, I think it's quite neat that we have that ability to be able to call in on support to shift things very quickly, and the understanding to actually do that to protect our client. Yeah, so I'll stop before I go in and answer any questions again.